Welcome back to the Untouchaballs podcast. Caden and Leo here. Caden, how you doing today?
Not too bad, Max. How about yourself?
Not too bad myself. Today was recorded on Martin Luther King Jr. Day, so happy Martin Luther King Jr. Day to all of you guys. Hope you had a great Monday.
Yeah, hope you guys had a great day. It's a day, obviously full of good sports.
Yes,
Right?
it was.
We had NBA throughout the day, which we're going to talk to here. Then the national championship, which you guys heard on yesterday's episode.
Correct.
So starting off, we're going to do it like we always do with the Denver Nuggets here. So, and since we last talked, obviously they've had some interesting stuff. I mean, more good than bad. Started off, they played that Mavericks again in Dallas, where Jamal had 45. That's basically the story.
He did.
Jokic still had his triple-double, but Jamal had 45 off of 32 first-half points.
Ken, this is by far the best game we've seen Jamal Murray have in quite a long time.
Oh, yeah.
Obviously, we know the capabilities of Jamal Murray. We've been hard on him this year because he hasn't lived up to those capabilities. He's been poor.
Especially after signing a max extension.
But finally, these last couple weeks, he's been getting his rhythm, he's getting his feel. This is the best performance he's had. Answering the bell, it's a positive sign moving forward, kid.
Yeah, and then this next night, so it was on a back-to-back. They're at home against the Rockets. Everything's looking good till 45 hour before tip-off, you find out Jokic is out with elbow soreness. We're like, what is going on there? He cut his shoot-around short. He was wearing an elbow sleeve, which he never does, and then they get blown out at home by the Rockets, which, I mean, it's not good, but also it's a little different when you know Jokic is out than when he gets ruled out an hour before the game.
It is completely different. Having a, get together a game plan and adjust on the fly is really hard in that situation, Caden, especially with this well-coached young Rockets team who get after it. It was a hard task for the Nuggets to go back-to-back and get the dub, but can't really be mad at that one.
No, and then, obviously they then played this little 2-game Florida road trip against the Heat and the Magic. Jokic played in both these games. He's wearing the shooting sleeve. And what I do like to see, though, is while Aaron Gordon's still kind of on his minutes restriction coming back from the calf, they win both these games pretty easily. And, while Aaron Gordon's on this minutes restriction, they still have Russ in the starting lineup. And he's still looking good. Christian Braun put up 20 points in this Heat game. It seems like he started off the year great offensively, took a little dip, especially when Gordon was out. And now he's starting to figure out that offensive game again, making shots, being more aggressive at the rim, which is great to see. And, it's just, I know we've talked about it before, but it's going to be a weird thing for Malone once Gordon's back to being fully healthy, trying to figure out, obviously Gordon's going to be a starter for you, but do we move Russ back to the bench where as a starter, the Nuggets are 16-5 with him as a starter? You move Christian Braun back to the bench, which I don't see it this way, but I've seen reports that it can cause a rift with the young players, which I think would be so stupid. I think it's stupid. You put whoever's better and whoever would be better suited to win games in the starting. Obviously Christian Braun's been good. I don't care if he's coming off the bench. I don't think he seems like the type of player who wouldn't care either. He seems like the type of player who's there to try to win basketball games.
And, Caden, that's what you need out of this organization. I think Mike Malone understands that, and I think that's what he's projected amongst his team. Because look at someone like Bones Highland. If you get a player who doesn't fit this win mentality and doesn't put team before me, you're going to get out of the Nuggets organization. That's what the history with Mike Malone has shown. And I think, the culture and the leadership and the compassion in that locker room is the least of the Nuggets worries moving forward.
Mm-hmm. And like with Bones, he would show flashes when he's played, but obviously he didn't deserve much more minutes than he was getting. And he thought he did.
Yeah.
They traded him to the Clippers for 2 seconds, and it's been the same thing for him on the Clippers.
Correct.
In this culture, when you have the best player in the world, you're trying to compete for a championship every single year. So whether you like it or not, you're going to be some of these bench players, they're not going to be playing as much minutes as maybe they think they should. When you have this really good core four that should already be in the starting lineup together.
Hit the nail on the head, kid.
Next thing we do want to talk about here is the Indiana Pacers, where we mentioned them a little over a month ago, where they started off the season really bad. Now it seems like, though, Tyrese is really coming into form. The Pacers are starting to win games. They've won 8 of their last 9. They had a 7-game win streak before losing to the Cavs only by 10, and they followed it back up with a win by the Pistons. Their offense is really starting to step up, and they're playing some defense here. They've been holding a good bit of teams to that 110 and under, which is really something you'd like to see for one of these more competitive teams.
Caden, we've talked about this Pacers team, and we're gonna keep repeating it because it's just the facts. The East sucks.
Yeah.
It's wide open. But we've talked about this as one of those potential outlier bubble teams like the, Orlando Magic that are right there, Caden. They have the star power. They have, supporting cast to be competitive, to make a run. They just need to start playing better defense. They need to start getting it figured out. And as of lately, they have. They really have been in that stride. As you mentioned, Tyrese Halliburton is their star. He is their leader. And when he gets going, people build on that, Caden, and it really makes for a successful basketball team.
Yeah, so like in December, when Tyrese was still kind of struggling, he averaged a little less than 18 points and about 8.5 assists a game. Now, so far in January, when they've been winning all these games, the Pacers are starting to look more like what we saw last year out of them, between this really high volume, we're going to be at a high pace, get the rebound, just hustle down the court and score at a high volume. That's what we've seen. Tyrese is up to averaging his 19 points, 9.5 assists. So what you really like to see is with the 9.5 assists, he's only averaging 1 point, like just a little less than 2 turnovers a game. So in that basically 10-2, so 5-1 assist to turnover ratio, which is elite. That's what you want to see, because you have a lot of players who can knock down shots for you on this team, whether it be Siakam down low, Miles Turner either down low or at the 3-point line. Then you have just kind of like the Rockets, you have a lot of these young players who are just good at basketball and can get you points. Whether Benedict Matherin's having a really good year this year. You have these just younger, like Aaron Nesmith, Andrew Nemhard, like Jarris Walker, who's been playing a little bit here and there. They just have a lot of this young, like, surplus of talent that when you have like your main stars and Tyrese and Miles Turner like playing well, all of them can kind of come in, do their roles well, and you're going to start winning more basketball games.
100%, kid.
Last thing we do kind of want to talk about here is we've kind of not finally seen another trade in the NBA. We're still waiting.
Barely.
We're still waiting for these big trades. We're still waiting for, that Jimmy Butler, the Bradley Beal, something like that.
Something big.
For the big trade. But the Suns do acquire Nick Richards from the Hornets for the Hornets and a second round. They got a second round pick for Josh Okogie and 3 second-round picks. Interestingly, the Suns, it's interesting because, they get the second they got, though, is Denver's 2025 second, so this upcoming year's. Shouldn't be worth anything. Should be in the 50s, maybe, hopefully, at 60. If
that would be ideal.
If everything goes to plan, that pick will be at 60, but yeah. And then the Hornets get Josh Okogie, who's whatever. Yeah. He's not nothing special than an NBA player. Then they get the Nuggets 2026 second rounder, who whatever. Maybe. You never know. But then the only other second rounders that maybe could be worth something is they have Denver's 2031 second. So who knows what's going on with the Nuggets by that exactly. And Phoenix's 2031. So you never know with that. But then Nick Richards comes into the Suns now, where their center, just them as a whole, has been completely dysfunctional this year. But they've had the worst center play in the NBA this year with Yusuf Nurkic. And then he gets benched in early January, and then completely just out of the lineup. You have Mason. They disliked Yusuf Nurkic so bad, they're letting Mason Plumlee start basketball games for them. That's how bad he's been. Just how
8 years ago, Mason Plumlee.
Exactly. How bad he's been, and just kind of how bad he's been for the team. And now he's been out. And so now you're like, we need to try to find an actual competent-ish center. And Nick Richards, while he's nothing crazy about him, he is a starting level worthy center. He's able to get you some points and some boards. He'll be able to contribute to this team more than whether it be a Plumlee and Nurkic or something like that. But obviously, it doesn't move the needle for them. You still have, KD and D-Book have been insane. Whether we've seen the rumors, maybe D-Book gets traded, which that could be something. We've seen some reports that if he does become available, the Rockets will be looking into him, which that would be scary for the West if the Rockets were able to get D-Book. But right now,
I still think there's any way you trade him inside a conference.
I don't know. But you have D-Book and KD right now, who are still playing like some of the best players in the NBA. But then you have your $50 million a year guy, Bradley Beal, who's been demoted to the bench because of how bad he is. And because they want to trade him. Correct. But he's one of the 3 NBA players, or I think it might only be 2. I think it might be him and LeBron are the only players in the NBA that have a no trade clause in their contract. So unlike every other player who can just ship out when they want, Bradley Beal's able to be like, no, I don't want to go to the Wizards or back
Correct.
to the Wizards or whether Hornets or whatever bad team or whatever they try to trade him to. He gets a say, so it's going to be even harder for this Suns team to try to rid them of Bradley Beal and that contract. So Nick Richards, good for them. He's a decent enough. He's a starting level worthy player, but they still have a lot more dysfunction in this franchise that's really going to help at all.
Caden, that's what makes the NBA so hard, because these trades, in all actuality, you really know we're not going to know if it means anything for years from now. You're going to have, just with the way the draft picks are so far stretched out. And most likely,
only in the NBA with those picks.
And
too.
only in the NBA. And most likely, they're probably not even going to end up using those second-round draft
Oh, they'll
picks.
trade them
They're
at
going to
some
be
point, probably.
traded or tossed around or passed around. It's weird in the NBA.
Yeah.
That seems to be the culture. Everyone likes sharing things and,
they love trading draft picks 10 years in the future.
Correct. It makes zero sense to me. So, honestly, that's all I have to say on the matter. Good job filling a position of need. I think as a team, as a GM, you're always trying to do that. So it's a plus for the Suns in that sense.
Yeah.
But other than that, really can't say much on it because the picks mean nothing.
The picks, the Denver second rounder should hopefully mean nothing for them.
Yes.
Hopefully for our sake, the Nuggets don't end up with a high second round pick, but who knows with Phoenix, they could end up giving them a pretty high second round pick in a couple years. But other than that, it's a second rounder. You don't see,
for sure,
especially in the NBA, you don't see much of anything come out of the second round in these drafts.
Exactly, unless it's Nikola Jokic potentially, but
Nikola
that
Jokic
doesn't fall out of the sky every time.
Draymond Green,
correct.
There's been a few, but it's very few and far between.
Well, Caden, as always, we're going to continue to monitor the NBA and come back every Wednesday to let you guys know any big news, any of our thoughts. What should the people do?
Yes, make sure you guys like this video, subscribe to the channel if you're new, turn on post notifications so you never miss an upload from the Untouchaballs. Share this video with your friends, family, strangers, anything like that, and check out our website, theuntouchaballs.wordpress.com.
You heard it from this man. Thank you all for listening, and we'll see you all next time.